In lieu of a bachelor party, my daughter's fiancé, Javier, opted for something a little different, a tropical camping trip on the beach in El Tecuan, and I, the future father-in-law, was invited, along with his dad, Fausto, his brother Pato, and his cousin Coy. I loved camping, and I loved the beach, so I was totally down. I drove my big 15-passenger van, which was loaded with camping gear and supplies, and we hit the road. El Tecuan is a very remote and tropical stretch of Pacific coastline. We arrived by late afternoon and drove right out onto the beach toward a large rock mountain to pitch camp at its base, a perfect spot. But our arrival was delayed when we hit a patch of loose sand and got stuck. Wheels were just spinning and digging deeper into the sand. We tried rocking, pushing, unloading the van right there to lighten it. Nothing worked, and soon the rear bumper was deep in the sand. We dug out as much as we could and stuck palm branches under the tires. Finally, just as the sun set below the horizon, we escaped the sand trap and made it the last few yards to the campsite at the base of the enormous rock. We set up camp by the light of a campfire and settled in for a beautiful night under a clear, starry sky, with the soothing sound of the waves crashing nearby. The day dawned bright and clear, and we were in paradise. The roster of activities for the day included swimming, surfing, fishing, snorkeling, spearfishing, and exploring. The waves were huge and awesome, and the snorkeling was amazing in the nearby crystal-clear lagoon, full of fish and other marine life. The tide pools in the rocks were also full of cool discoveries. The amazing rock formations just offshore were divine works of art. Caves, arches, and overhanging cliffs caused me to marvel at God's glorious work of creation. We decided to go exploring and cut down some coconuts from the palm trees. We followed the river upstream, taking in all the lush tropical beauty along the way. We came across a crooked palm tree loaded with coconuts, and Javier started climbing up. About halfway up, he suddenly jumped off the tree and landed in the sand a few feet away. He jumped to his feet and started shaking his hand. On the backside of the palm tree was a wasp nest, and Javi had put his hand right on it, getting stung multiple times. His hand swelled up like a balloon and turned red with the inflammation. No coconuts from that tree. Eventually, the pain and swelling went down, and Javi and his brother successfully climbed and cut bunches of coconuts, which we all enjoyed, drinking the refreshing coconut water and savoring the flesh with lemon, salt, and chili. As we continued to explore the jungle, we climbed a sandy hill and stopped dead in our tracks. Before us was planted row after row of flowers, far into the distance. Who would plant and cultivate flowers on the edge of the jungle? Upon closer inspection, we discovered that these were not ordinary flowers. They were in fact a variety of poppies called chicle, and there could only be one reason for them to be planted in such a remote area of the coast. This was a secluded drug plantation, the flowers grown for opium production. Actually, not far away was a large abandoned estate of a corrupt ex-military or government official who was killed in a drug-related scandal. We were actually planning to go explore the abandoned estate, but after discovering the active plantation, we decided to keep our distance from the property and any potentially armed drug runners guarding the plantation. While walking on the pristine white sand beach the next morning, we discovered a fresh batch of sea turtle eggs that had been laid on the beach the night before. The turtle tracks were still clearly visible in the soft sand. We carefully buried the eggs so they would be able to incubate in the warm sand and hatch little sea turtles. But sadly, before the day was over, a local fisherman who was walking on the beach found the eggs and scooped them all up to sell or feed his own family. Another local fisherman had just caught an enormous stingray down the beach and was cleaning it. We bought some fresh, juicy slabs of stingray steak and grilled them on the campfire for dinner that night under the starry sky. We kind of felt like castaways on a desert island, surviving and thriving in this amazing place, surrounded by God's beautiful creation and provision. Well, our magical, tropical adventure finally came to an end, and we packed up camp and headed back to the big city. We had many other exciting adventures over the years, but I will always remember that special camping trip onto the beach of El Tecuan. Thank you so much for listening to this true story from Memoirs of Mexico. If you enjoyed this story, or if it was a blessing to you, please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. That would be a blessing to me. I upload a new true story every day. If you like to read, you can also order Memoirs of Mexico in paperback or ebook on Amazon.com. There's a link in the description. Thanks again for listening.